That's far enough, Jensen.
You were behind this?
I said that's far enough. I can explain everything if you just stay where you are.
Why don't you put the gun down? Then maybe we can talk.
You think I'm stupid? You've got every reason in the world to hate me, and I've heard what you do to your enemies. Tell me, did you enjoy putting so many BT contractors into comas?
You're the one who let me off the leash.
It wasn't my choice. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to get us both killed before this is over. But if we'd left you in that brig, who'd be around to save your Dr. Reed?
What do you know about Megan?
I know the name set off way too many bells and whistles when I added it to Burke's profile search on you. But it helped me to figure out who you are and why you stowed away on the ship. You think Bell Tower kidnapped her, don't you?
You want to tell me you didn't?
I wish I could. But after what I've seen this past year, all I know for certain is she's not on the base. Not anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
Not what you're thinking. Listen, Rifleman Bank Station supports all Bell Tower operations in this region, Jensen. Regular contract and special op. 6 months ago, I received orders to pull every regular grade soldier and civilian contractor away from the airstrip. 2 Black Hawk helicopters set down minutes later. I thought it had to do with Australia, especially when I saw covered stretchers coming out.
How many?
5. Guarded by a heavily augmented special ops team. Burke went out to meet the leader and the whole group disappeared inside the detention camp. There's some kind of black project going on in there, Jensen. Something involving prisoners and scientists. And I need you to find out what it is.
Tell me more about these scientists.
Technically, I'm in charge of operations here, so I keep tabs on people coming in and out. Burke keeps meeting with doctors and researchers, telling me it's part of his interrogation technique.
You got any names?
None that I trust, unless the Doe family suddenly expanded into Australia and Asia. Thing is, I don't always see how they leave.
Yet you're sure that Megan did.
The Blackhawks did. Without the stretchers, but loaded with 5 stasis pods this time.
I'm gonna need more information than that. Tell me about this black project.
I wish I could, but it's been classified. So classified every BT suit I've talked to refuses to even acknowledge its existence.
But you've seen something.
Only the edges. This station is part base, part military stockade, and every week a new shipment of belligerents arrives. Only, Interpol says they're not on anyone's terrorist watch list. Most are just civs, harmless civs. Burke takes them into a restricted wing of the detention camp and they just disappear.
Why me, Keitner? That is your name, isn't it? The one Burke used back on the ship?
Natanya Keitner, yes. And it has to be you, because any movements I make are noted and logged. I can't risk blowing cover.
Cover? Who are you working for?
A few months ago, an Interpol agent approached me. They've had Bell Tower on their radar for some time, but they've never been able to prove anything. The things that agent pointed out about this base, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. So you see, Jensen, I really am playing the good cop and the bad cop.
Fine. What do you need me to do?
Hold still for a second.
What the?
Relax. I'm just compiling your biometric signature. Retinal scan, pulmonary and vascular imaging, the works. Once I upload it to the network and give Corporal Alan Tyler a security rating, you'll be able to pass through specific checkpoints in this sector.
Only this sector, why not others?
Because you're a fugitive, Jensen. The less room I give you to maneuver in, the more likely it is you'll stay one. I can get you into the detention camp, but the interrogation wing is going to be a problem. Only Burke can give clearances for that.
And I assume you don't want me to go ask for one.
Still the comedian. There's a security mainframe inside the detention camp's central command tower. You'll need to upload this copy of your biometrics there by hand. Contact me using your Infilink once you do. Any more questions?
I'd like a little clarification here about you and Burke. I take it he outranks you.
Technically, yes. But this station is only part military stockade, and while he and his unit have 100% control over the detention camp, I have authority over the base.
So I don't need to worry that this is all just some creative attempt at mutiny.
Mutiny? You think I'd risk so much because of... Listen close, Jensen. Burke is a sexist, chauvinist pig, and yes, he outranks me. He's also been in Bell Tower a lot longer than me, so he's got more connections. which he's used to undermine me at every turn. But that is not why you and I are standing here right now. People are getting hurt. Innocent people. And we have to find out why and expose it.
Exposure could destroy Bell Tower.
Bell Tower used to have honor. We do this right, it might again someday.
The guards in the prison complex, are they Burke's men or yours?
Definitely Burke's. Highly trained, special operatives. So if you start a firefight in there, don't expect to live long.
I'll keep that in mind. I could use some more hardware. Any chance Corporal Tyler will have access to the armory?
You're still a fugitive, Jensen. I suggest you keep a very low profile. Still, there is someone who might be able to supply you. One of the base mechanics, a civilian named Quinn. He runs a nice sideline in procurement.
I know the type. Why should I trust him?
Because I do, and because he has no love for Burke. He's in the lower level maintenance area near the elevator. He'll get you what you need.
That's all I need to know.
Good. I'll upload to the security network from here, so get going. Alan Tyler will exist by the time you reach the prison security port. Just be careful, and try not to draw too much attention.
Are you Quinn?
Yeah, that's me. Jensen, is it? You weren't followed, were you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I can believe that. They're having a hell of a time keeping up with you.
I intend on keeping it that way.
Well, you've certainly ruffled a few feathers higher up. It's not like they don't know you're here. Stowed away on the ship, I mean. It's only a matter of time before they bring the hammer down. Put a stop to your gallivant on the base. I just hope I'm not near you when the iron's hot and you're on the anvil.
Look, Keitner said you can help me. Can you?
Yeah, she told me to be expecting you. I'm just glad you came as soon as you did instead of going off on your own. There's enough kegs of powder lying around here already without throwing another loose cannon in the mix. You know how much we're risking to keep you off the radar? We've only got so much pull around here. It's Burke's show, and he'll do as he bloody well pleases. Which means stamping out any rats the moment he gets wind of them.
I'm grateful, but can we get on with it? I understand you run a nice little sideline in procurement.
Aye. From time to time you might say being inclined to do a little, how should we call it? Bartering. On the side. Since the commander signed off on it, I suppose I could open my stock to you. For a price, that is.
You mean I have to pay?
What? Of course you have to bloody well pay. I ain't exactly a fucking armory quartermaster down here. I'm just a civvy contractor trying to make ends meet. This ain't a bleeding charity.
Considering the circumstances.
Circumstances? What, that you're a fugitive and I'm risking my neck just talking to you? What are you trying to pull here? Although, I don't suppose you had anything to do with the stasis pod that was saved back on the ship.
How do you know about that?
Ah, so it was you, eh? Well, let's just say I have my sources and your little random act of kindness didn't go unnoticed. Tell you what, I'll give you a discount on me wares. Just no freebies or handouts. But now that I think of it, if you're looking for a little something for nothing and don't mind a little light work, I've got an errand that could use running. Consider it a special offer of sorts. Interested?
What exactly do you do here, Quinn?
In a more civilized world, you might say I pass for the base's lead maintenance engineer. But if you look at it from Beltar's point of view, I might as well just be a glorified janitor. Pays good though, so, not complaining.
If the pay is good, why the underground market?
Well, why not? You see, civilian contractors operate under different jurisdiction when it comes to bringing outside goods into the base. So while the rank and file grunts can only order and receive essentials, toothpaste and the like, I, being the entrepreneurial chap that I am, offer them a more robust catalogue of goods and services. You know the sort. Smokes, beverages, and gentleman's literature.
How does this involve weapons?
Now, let me finish. As an enterprising fellow, I require an exchange of valuables for these slightly less than essential supplies, and often receive some very non-civilian contractor-regulated equipment in exchange, if you catch me drift. Now, normally, I launder my stock through a contact on the mainland, but a deal in Shanghai recently fell through, so lucky for you, I've got some excess inventory to move. Consider this whole arrangement a matter of fortunate timing.
And Keitner is okay with all of this?
Not exactly. You see, some time ago, the commander got wind of my little operation down here. But before she could throw me in the brig, I offered her something I knew she couldn't refuse. Information. I ain't bragging, but I've managed to build myself quite a little network of sparrows and gophers. I'd known for a while that she'd been at odds with that prick Burke. In the end, I reached a rather simple mutual agreement. I keep her in the loop, and she keeps my neck out of the noose, so to speak.
What can you tell me about this base?
Nothing you don't know, probably. To the outside world, it's a Beltar naval logistics headquarters and supply point for their Pacific operations. Beneath the surface, though, it's much, much more.
How so?
Look, nothing personal, mate, but I prefer if the commander do most of the informing. As far as I'm concerned, the less I know, and more importantly, the less I say in this matter, the better off we all are.
Tell me about the commander, Keitner.
Lieutenant Commander, officially. But the grunts don't pay no mind to that. She's the commander as far as they're concerned. It's the Reds who stick to the formalities, you see. Because they're Burke's boys. The spooks. Special operations. You might say there's a bit of a division of loyalty among the troops.
Between Keitner's men and Burke's?
Aye. Since time immemorial, there's always been a rivalry of sorts between grunts and spooks. I always assumed it came down to ego. But it's different here. Probably because Burke's different.
What do you mean?
Well, for a start, the man might be a righteous prick, but he's got the respect of his men. And the higher-ups think he's a visionary based on some fancy tech he drummed up a few years back. In other words, the man's got a lot of influence and a lot of power, and, well, I don't think that old proverb needs repeating here.
All right, tell me about this special offer.
Look, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but this base is packing some serious heat. Especially in the form of those walking brick shithouse boxcars. If you get me a few odds and ends, I might be able to whip up a little something to make getting around easier, if you catch my meaning.
What kind of something are we talking about here?
Nothing fancy. Just a 329 series of MPRS.
A rocket launcher?
That's right, mate. And custom built. By yours truly, of course. You see, while I might be able to get my fingers on some low-level arms, I'm a little restricted when it comes to military-grade bells and whistles. I'm itching to try out a new trigger propulsion mix. Maybe even recalibrate the guidance system for some extra punch.
While I find your enthusiasm for explosives slightly disturbing, something like this could come in handy.
Like I always say, speaking soft is for the birds when you got the biggest stick on the block. Look, all you gotta do is find me some components. I'll do the rest. An earlier boat had a shipment of 329s. But I wasn't able to poach any of them before they made it to the armory. Luckily, little Sparrow in my employ managed to lose one through maintenance circulation. But he got himself shit canned before I could collect. Now my little bute's lying around the base somewhere in bloody pieces. The launcher, I mean, not the wee man. Though, no idea what really happened to him.
Right, so, long story short, you need me to find the parts and bring them back to you.
Yeah, that about sums it up, I'd say. Just find me the trigger module, scope assembly, and launch a barrel, and we're in business. I can scrape up the rest from leftovers here in the shop.
I think I already found some of the components. Are these them?
Aye. Let me see what you got there. That's the 329 scope assembly. And it looks like you also managed to find the trigger module. Just one to go and we're in business. Buy something or bugger off. No refunds.
Sector Alpha. Cargo crew to Alpha. Security credentials must be carried at all times. You may be asked to produce said credentials by security personnel. Please comply. Activating security scan. Biometric data assembled. Subject recognized. Access granted.
Processing, you will undergo a preliminary medical...
I've answered all your questions. Please, let me go! Why am I being held here? Where are we?
Coming back to fix that wall? Start moving, I can feel the breeze coming through the cracks.
Negative. I submitted a work order request, but no response yet. If that targeted Bert finds out, someone's ass is gonna be in a sling.
As long as we make sure we got ours covered. Cross the T's and dot the I's. I don't ever want to be in his crosshairs, especially about this.
Yeah, he's got a hard on for this contingency plan of his. I don't mind telling you, I hope we never have to put it into effect.
I know what you mean. And I think, would it be any worse for them than what we're already doing?
Please, don't send me to the doctors! I've answered all your questions. Please, let me go!
Please, tell me what's going on back there, in the examination area. They took Leanne back there 2 days ago, but she hasn't come back.
No, not again. That white-haired son of a bitch said they'd had enough data from me. I'll claw his augmented eyes out of his face if he ever comes near me again.
"你是谁？你和其他人不太一样。"
No! Not again. What more do they want from me, please? I've answered all their questions. Tell them I'm not sick.
not like they have it all bad. They get to go to the ranch, maybe even into space. I'm the one stuck here.
Access granted. Access granted. Access granted.
Hey, you don't belong here. Jesus.
你是谁？
There's been some mistake. I was assured I would be left untouched. You must send me back for Hang Sha.
Let me out of here!
Access granted.
You'll all pay for this! 请问这是什么地方？我们在哪？ I've already been questioned and subjected to all your tests. Please, just let me go. I won't tell anyone.
You can't just sweep us under a rock like this.
I've answered all your questions. Please, let me go.
我不能容忍的，这是对正义的招落。我不是恐怖分子，我是自由战士。
You can't do it! We have rights!
Access granted.
You've got to know this is wrong. You can't just grab someone off the street and lock them up. How can you blindly go along with this?
I guess it's your turn now, right? Your friends have already had their fun, so...
Why am I being held here?
Now you want a piece.
Where are we? This is a mistake.
I know you can hear me, you bastard! This is a nightmare. I don't belong here.
Why am I being held here? Where are we? This isn't right. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a terrorist. What you're doing is wrong. This is illegal. You can't keep us.
You've got to know this is wrong.